Hello, Sean. Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate you spending some time with me. This is Sean Hakim from the Get Sparked show. This is a show that's been performed for 1 million youth in North America. He's a motivational speaker extraordinaire. I know he's got a ton of value to share with you guys. He's currently working on a new show called Building a Dream. And thank you so much for being with me tonight. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. I'm excited to be here too. Looking good.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
No problem. No problem.
So one of the reasons I wanted to get Sean on is what really impressed me when I was working with him is his way that he has mastered his shows. So his shows are, how long are they again, Sean?
Well, the one for the kids is 60 minutes long, and then the one for the adults, the Building a Dream, is 100 minutes long.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you, and it boggled my mind a little bit as I was starting to go on my journey of learning to do my signature talk. How do you get into a mastery place of that much content? Now, where I think it can serve everyone here today is I've asked you to call for referrals. I've asked you to do some cold calling, some scary stuff. But how do you get so good with that content? Now we're talking about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes of content, nothing to the length that Sean does, but I think he's got some amazing tips for everybody to help you get to that mastery place of that, even that little amount of content. Because if it can work for something that's that long, it could certainly work for something there. So Sean, share with us these tips. These are amazing.
Sure. Well, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do to, I guess, like you put it, master yourself in order, with these scripts. The first thing I always do is I practice. Like, practice is the most important thing. There's that old saying, we all know that old saying, practice makes perfect. I mean, it's there for a reason. So what I do is,
like
again,
what Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah, exactly. No lightsabers involved. I can't do that.
All right, keep going.
No, so practicing is super, super important. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I find that the more that it's in my head, the more that I can hear myself actually doing it or performing it, the more confident I become. And I think confidence is the big thing. So in my case, doing these shows, and I'm speaking to, sometimes it's 2,000 people, sometimes it's 50 people, whatever the situation is, confidence is key. And I think the only way you get confident is by practicing. So as an example, with the Get Sparked show, that's 60 minutes long, I usually just, in that case, I'll do, it's called an Italian. And basically what that means is you just do it really, really fast. Now, this is obviously after many, many years of doing this, that I can do an Italian with it now. I can run it really fast. So usually I can get that done in about 30 minutes.
Wow.
When I do it in Italian. With the new show called Building a Dream, that's a bit different. So what I do there, I have this rule with myself, and it's called start your day with your dream. So don't wait until you've gotten some other stuff out of the way first, the stuff that pays the bills or whatever. I start my day with my dream.
Amazing.
And with the Building a Dream show, because it's so long, it's hard to do the full 100 minutes all at once. So what I'll do is I'll break it up into 2 sessions. I've got my morning session where I'll do half of the show. All right. And I don't do that in Italian style. I actually do that as if I'm performing.
Right.
And I do about, let's say 45 minutes to 50 minutes in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I do another 45 to 50 minutes. And that's considered the work. I mean, we all have our jobs that we go to, right? And if you're going to job 9 to 5, I mean, entrepreneurs are a bit different. We have different hours, obviously, much longer hours. But this is considered part of the work.
Yes.
It's not all about just, cold calling and writing emails and all the marketing and all that stuff you have to do. This is very important because if you're selling yourself, you need to come across as extremely confident in what you're talking about. You have to know what you're talking about. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you. And the more confident you are with your material, the more you start to believe in your material, right? And when you talk to someone, it comes across that, okay, this is real. This is authentic. He actually believes what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
If we look back to the 80s, I'm sure there's some entrepreneurs from the 80s, and you look at someone like Jimmy Swaggart, remember these televangelists? I mean, there's so much of them now, but you watch these guys and they're on stage and they're putting on a bit of a show too, but they believe what they're saying. And it comes across, I mean, of course, there's a lot of effort that's put into what they're doing, but you see them doing it with such belief. And of course, that draws in more and more people. So
For sure.
practice makes perfect, gives you the confidence, and it also gives you the belief. So that's what I do as far as that goes.
Amazing. Yeah. I think, I think back to my days where I was just doing lots of cold calling for others. And if you're doing it 8 hours a day, naturally you're going to get really, really good at it. But if you only do the thing once in a while, that practice keeps the knife really sharp.
Right.
And it's really, really, really important.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So practicing every day. Now, you mentioned something else around recordings.
Yeah. So what I used to do with the Get Sparked show was so in the Get Sparked show, there's 5 different subjects I talk about for these kids. And what I would do is I would make a separate recording for each part. And I mean, it's a perfect opportunity if you're in traffic, instead of listening to the radio or instead of listening to the news, listen to yourself performing it.
There you go.
This is considered practice as well. So you're in the car, you're listening to yourself perform this material, and it's getting in your head. I mean, if you listen to a song long enough, eventually you'll know it off by heart.
Right.
You'll be able to sing it, no problem.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Same idea with these things. So I do these recordings, and I can play them on the road as I'm driving. Or another thing is too, before I go to bed. I mean, as entrepreneurs, some of us have a hard time sleeping at night. I'm sure there's a lot of them out there that have a hard time sleeping. So this is a great opportunity as well. Before you're going to bed, put your headphones on, lay in bed, and as you're going to bed, listen to, whatever your material happens to be. In my case, it's these motivational topics.
Yeah.
So.
I find myself that there's a big difference being on the phone and a big difference being in person. I know you primarily do a lot of it. A lot of your presentations are obviously shows and you're in front of people. So how do you better prepare for that? I know a lot. We're asking the folks, my superheroes, entrepreneurs in the challenge. They're going through the process of writing out what those scripts are, and that may translate into going and networking and being in front of people and talking that same language now. So how do you do that?
Well, one of the things about rehearsing and practicing and doing it by yourself is that it's easy to do it by yourself and there's nobody else around.
Yeah. What
I find is, and what I do now is there's a couple things. I have my little dog, and she's been bugging me this whole time. I think she wants to be interviewed too, Daniel, just so you know.
Oh, okay. Maybe later.
Maybe later. So what I'll do is as I'm rehearsing my material, I'll put my dog right in front of me and I'll rehearse to the dog.
Wow. Okay.
Just because it's so different when you do it in front of somebody. So as an example,
for sure,
let's say you've worked on something for 2 weeks and you've got it down pat. I can guarantee you, one of your buddies comes up to you and says, "Hey, let me hear it. Let me hear what you got. Let me hear what you got. Let's see what it sounds like." And you try to get into your spiel, and then all of a sudden you're like, you go blank.
You go blank. Yeah.
So practicing in front of people is also essential. I'm doing that with Building a Dream as well, where I'm practicing in front of people. I'm actually having a party, a little mini party, where I'm going to have appetizers and drinks, and I've got some selected family members to come over, and so we're going to start off with some appetizers, whatever, and then I'm going to do half of my show. For them. We'll have a little break. Maybe I'll have a little shot of something.
Liquid courage is always
some liquid courage, and then go into the second half and do the second half for them, get some feedback, because I want to see how I can perform this particular material in front of actual people.
Sure.
Especially people who I really, 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 really care about their opinions on what I'm doing. So I'm at a point now with Building a Dream, because I rehearse it again every single day, where I can do it like this.
Right.
Like the 100 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I want to see how I can do it in front of people. So I'm bringing that small group to do that as well. So that's another way to build your confidence. Yeah. And to create that belief in yourself.
Yeah. I like to go to networking events and just literally bump into people and go into the spiel. I'll try some different variations and start to see, you look for body language, you look for reactions, you look for lean into moments. I even practice on my girls.
Yeah, I've done that too on my kids.
Because they got no idea what you're talking about for the most part, but they're at least human beings that you can look in the eyes and practice. So amazing. I think these are all actionable things that everyone in the challenge right now could take an element that they like, record themselves, practice it, try an Italian, and just go ahead and get really, really comfortable and really good with your content that we've developed in the challenge, and then start to use it, and practice every day.
Practice and practice every day. Even go to the park.
Yeah, sure.
Go to the park, and I've got a lot of construction happening now inside my place, and I open up the doors and I let the construction noise come in as I practice too. So there's that huge distraction there. But all of these things will allow you to be ready for any situation that occurs. So I guess with your cold calling situation, you're going to get all these different personality types on the other line.
Sure.
It's good. That's why it's good to practice in different environments, because you're going to be different with different environments as far as calling someone is concerned too. So it helps you there.
Awesome. Sean, that was great. It was amazing. Listen, as I kind of close out again, folks, as you're going in and asking for referrals, and customizing what you're going to say each time, go off and practice it a bit, and then get on the phones. Same thing with your cold calling. Once you've had that script down, start to practice that each day. That this is something that you should really, really ensure that you go and do. So Sean, just to close out our time together, I know we've worked together, and we've had a little bit of time to help these folks at this challenge get a little bit better. Maybe you want to just share a little bit about what it's been like to work with me, and just so they can get another person's perspective.
Well, before I started working with you, I kind of saw things like this. Okay. So I've been doing things a certain way for a very, very long time. And my whole world existed in this little box. And I remember the first time that we talked, the box opened up to this.
Yeah. Because
you were telling me things I've never even thought of. I'm like, oh, I can do this, I could do that. And it actually totally changed the way I think about things now. So realizing that it's always a box. It's always a box no matter what it is. And there's always something outside that box if you're willing to expand. So I think one of the biggest things that I've taken away from working with you is the ability now to expand my thinking so it's not so limited. There's a lot of things you told me. I remember you told me that I am good on the phone. I am a good cold caller. And I was like, I am really? And you're like, no, you can be a good cold caller. And again, I did those cold calls and they were nerve-wracking.
Sure.
They were nerve-wracking, but again, this is the great thing about being an entrepreneur, is that because we're not doing the typical, I guess, 9 to 5, or whatever it is nowadays. I have no clue. We have the ability to constantly expand ourselves. And by taking on some of those techniques, I've gone from here to here, and I know it's just going to get bigger and bigger and better. So that's definitely one thing I learned from you was being able to expand myself beyond my personal limiting beliefs that I had. Wow. So that was a great thing for sure.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So listen, thanks again for taking some time out of your day or your evening, actually. Yeah. And if you wanted to go deeper and learn a little bit more about Sean, you can see his site. I'm going to put it up here as well, but SeanHakim.com, and he's got a great daily. Is it daily? I forget now. The video series you're doing.
Yeah, I do a weekly video series.
Weekly, that's right.
Yeah, it's called 3-Minute Mastery. Basically, just taking spiritual topics or motivational topics and kind of condensing them into 3 minutes, and making it easier for people who have a hard time finding a way to put that first step into that realm, making it a little bit easier to understand those concepts. And that's every week on Facebook, or every week on the website.
It's great content, and if that's of service to anybody, you should really go check it out. So thanks again, Sean. I really, really, really appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right. Take care.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.